My stepmom destroyed my college fund and kicked me out at 18, so I made sure she lost everything she cared about. When I was 18, my stepmom Diane told me I had 24 hours to pack my things and leave because she needed my room for her yoga studio. My dad had died 6 months earlier, and suddenly I was just taking up space in her house. I asked about my college fund, the one my dad had been building since I was born, the $85,000 he'd shown me statements for and promised would cover my education. She smiled and said, "Your father left everything to me in the will, and I decided that money would be better spent renovating the kitchen. You're an adult now. Time to figure life out on your own." I moved into my friend's basement with 2 garbage bags of clothes and spent the next 3 years working double shifts at a grocery store while taking community college classes. I couldn't afford university. I couldn't afford anything. Meanwhile, Diane got her kitchen renovation, her yoga studio, her luxury car, and her monthly spa trips, all funded by money my dad had saved for me. Here's what I learned during those 3 years. Diane had been married twice before my dad. First husband divorced her for infidelity. Second husband died in a car accident, and she inherited his life insurance policy. My dad was husband number 3, and he'd updated his will 2 months before his sudden heart attack, leaving everything to her instead of splitting it between us. The timing felt convenient. I started digging deeper. I found my dad's old laptop in a box of his things I'd managed to grab before leaving. When I finally got it running, I found emails, dozens of them. Diane writing to her sister about how she'd convinced my dad to change his will by telling him I was secretly planning to put him in a nursing home. Complete lies. Emails about how she'd been slowly isolating him from his friends and family. Emails where she discussed his life insurance policy and how much she'd get when he died. One email from 3 weeks before his death where she wrote, "I'm tired of waiting. Maybe I need to be more proactive about moving this along." I took screenshots of everything and saved them in 6 different places. Then I kept digging. Diane had been giving my dad a daily smoothie every morning for the last 8 months of his life. She told everyone it was for his health, packed with supplements and vitamins. My dad's autopsy report mentioned elevated levels of certain compounds, but nothing definitively poisonous. The doctors had ruled it a heart attack brought on by stress and genetics. But I found receipts in the laptop's email archives. Diane had been ordering supplements online that in high doses could cause cardiac issues. Nothing immediately lethal, nothing that would show up as obvious poisoning, but over months of accumulation, enough to stress an already vulnerable heart. I had evidence, but nothing a prosecutor would call definitive. I needed more. So I waited and I watched and I planned. 2 years after she kicked me out, Diane started dating a wealthy real estate developer named Keith. She was already spending my dad's money, but Keith had serious wealth. Within 6 months, they were engaged. I reached out to Keith's daughter from his first marriage through social media. Her name was Vanessa, and it turned out she was not happy about her dad's new relationship. I told her everything. Showed her the emails, the receipts, the timeline of my dad's death and Diane's inheritance. Vanessa had resources I didn't have. Her mother's divorce attorney, private investigators, forensic accountants. We built a case together. The private investigator discovered Diane had done the same thing to husband number 2. The car accident that killed him had been suspicious, but never fully investigated. His family had always suspected Diane had tampered with his brakes, but couldn't prove it. The life insurance payout had been $200,000, and she'd gone through it in 18 months before meeting my dad. We presented everything to Keith 2 weeks before his wedding. The emails about manipulating my dad's will, the suspicious supplement purchases, the pattern with husband number 2. Keith's face went white as he read through the documents. He called off the wedding immediately, but we weren't done. Keith's attorney contacted the police with our evidence, and they reopened the investigation into my dad's death. While that was happening, I filed a civil suit contesting my dad's will based on undue influence and elder abuse. Diane had manipulated a man with early signs of dementia into cutting out his only child. The emails proved it. She'd systematically isolated him and lied about me to control his decisions. The judge agreed. The will was invalidated, and everything reverted to my dad's previous will, which split everything 50-50 between me and Diane. I got $85,000 plus half the house value plus 3 years of back payments. Diane had already spent most of the liquid cash on renovations and her lifestyle, so she was forced to sell the house to pay me my share. The criminal investigation found enough evidence to charge her with elder abuse and fraud, but not quite enough for murder. She pleaded guilty to the abuse charges to avoid trial and got 3 years in prison. Keith's family also filed a civil suit for attempted fraud and won.